Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hollywood Hubbies Film Club. My name is Jeffrey.
And I'm Brandon.
All right, so before we get into business, I just wanted to acknowledge that as we're filming this video, it has been about a week since we released the intro and episodes 1 and 2 of the Hollywood Hubbies Film Club.
We are official.
Yeah. How are you feeling?
Good. I mean, I think that because this is our very first podcast and just us learning the different, schematics behind it, how to host.
Spell it.
Right.
I'm just kidding.
How to host it. But, being on Riverside, FM has really been helpful because not only are we recording on Riverside, but also we're able to edit on there and also host on there. So we've pushed it out on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and also YouTube. I know a lot of people, even with audio, Jeffrey and I realized that even audio, people will just listen to YouTube in the background. It's easy for people to just keep YouTube streaming. So we thought it would be a good idea that even though it's audio and not visual content, that we would post it on YouTube as well.
Mhm.
And who knows what we'll be in 2026 or a year from now or whatever. Who
Yeah.
knows if we'll start
We're starting audio, but we may.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
Oh, we also dropped our TikTok, babe.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, if you want
TikTok, Instagram.
Yeah, if you want, you can find us on TikTok and on Instagram under Hollywood Hubbies.
At Hollywood Hubbies.
And yeah,
how do you feel like the reception has been from the people that you've talked with?
I think I was not as nervous about our content and what we speak about. I was more nervous on the behind the scenes type of things.
Oh, like how it sounds.
Yeah, how does it sound? Do you hear our dog clinging in the background? Do you hear sirens going off? But as far as the content, there have been a few people that have mentioned to me that they are actually watching the films before we review it.
I know, that was so cool to hear.
That's definitely cool.
Yeah, like people who have either never seen the movie at all, so would have initially not had any interest, or people who just haven't seen it in like a really long time. It was cool to hear like, oh my God, I watched it. And then I listened and yeah, I saw the same things that you saw, or like I was thinking the same thing that you did. Like,
yeah. I thought that was really cool too. I mean, like we haven't really pushed any marketing for this. Obviously not until we really get things flowing. Will we devote some more time into pushing marketing, but we might start doing some live feeds on TikTok or IG because it's really easy to just go live and chat with people. But also, yeah, I mean, we're over 100 clicks already as far as like listens go between all three of those. So I think without promoting it too much, 100 listens is pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. So we have a snazzy classic for you. Last week we did our review of Chicago. So if you haven't listened yet, go watch the movie, give it a listen, and tell us what you think. At the end of every episode, we're going to be spinning the wheel to give you the name of the next movie for our next episode. That way you can watch along ahead of time. Film club.
Today's episode, we are rolling the dice and rocking the boat with Guys and Dolls.
All right. So Guys and Dolls was released in 1955. This musical film stars Marlon Brando, Gene Simmons, Frank Sinatra, and Vivian Blaine. The picture was made by Samuel Goldwyn Productions and was released by MGM. It was directed by Joseph L. Mankiewicz, and he also wrote the screenplay. And can I just talk about how amazing his writing is? Like, if you go back and see the movies that he's written and directed, they are classics. All About Eve.
Brilliant.
And A Letter to Three Wives.
Also brilliant.
I think I brought those ones up in the intro, but like they are forever ingrained in my memory. I could watch those movies every single day and not be bored. They are unbelievable.
I think for also a writer in the 1940s and 50s, like you have to hand it to him that he was writing roles for women that a lot of other writers weren't. So that's That's really awesome.
Yeah,
He was flexing muscle on their behalf so that they could have these really strong roles.
Yeah,
for sure. Not like he didn't write great roles for men, but yeah, like in general, I think that's good. That way, people can go back and look into his work. The film is based on the 1950 Broadway musical by composer and lyricist Frank Lesser, Joe Swirling, and Abe Burrows, which in turn was loosely based on 2 short stories by Damon Runyon.
I want to go back and read those and see like how similar they are, or if
Yeah, like
it's
how
just
much
like
was taken from
yeah.
that. I have a feeling Sarah's storyline is probably a separate short story compared to the other parts of
Oh,
the.
like both short stories are both couples.
Possibly.
The film was nominated for 4 Academy Awards: Best Art Direction, Best Cinematography, Best Costume Design, and Best Score. I 100% agree with those nominations because the first thing I noticed, well, we'll get into it later, but the first thing I noticed was cinematography and costumes. Like the costumes in this movie are amazing.
Amazing.
So, yes, I agree. And shout out to Gene Simmons for winning a Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy that year. All right, so had you ever seen this movie, and what is your first or fondest memory about it?
I, yes, had seen this movie before. So when I was, probably junior high, maybe even a little bit younger, my best friend's family would take me to go see uh, live stage productions that were put on by a performing arts high school. But their caliber that these shows that they did, I mean, they were just unbelievable. To me, they were unbelievable. I mean, it was a performing arts high school, so of course you're going to be blown away. But even looking back, I'm so impressed with all of that. And I specifically remember, maybe like 5th or 6th grade, going to see Guys and Dolls in this high school production. It was called Hamilton Performing Arts High School in Los Angeles. And I went to go see it, and I wanted to know more about it. So I tracked down the movie. I probably rented it from the library at that time. If anyone remember, you probably still can find some old classics at the library. I'm not sure how that works anymore.
I'm sure.
But you remember doing that. I'm sure people remember doing that. But I think, I asked my parents to take me to the library, and I found Guys and Dolls, and I also found 42nd Street. And I remember watching both of those. That was my first and fondest memory of watching the movie. And then I think shortly after that, I probably bought like the CD soundtrack for it, and then the Broadway soundtrack because I was collecting soundtracks at that time. What about you? Any childhood memories, or do you recall the first time watching this movie?
I wouldn't say I have any specific memories. I know it's definitely one of the films that I rented from my 6th grade teacher, Miss Allison, who used to have her VHS collection out and about around the classroom that you could rent for a quarter. I know I've told that story before, but that's where I've seen a majority of these films. I don't think it was a constant re-rental.
Yeah.
I had other ones that I would want to watch a lot more, but I do know that, I loved loved the music, and it's a great watch. One thing that's funny, as we were rewatching the movie last night, I always forget that Luck Be a Lady is not Frank Sinatra's song.
Oh, sure.
Because I'm so used to his recording of it. Like I've heard his recording and like so many times that when I go back and watch the movie, it doesn't matter if it was like every single time I watch it, I always am like, oh, it's not his song. It's just he wanted to record the song. So
I mean, I'm sure he was irritated that he didn't get to sing that song.
probably, but I mean, was he offered the role? I mean, could he have played the other one?
No, I'm saying no to that.
I mean, it was the beefier role, so
yeah, definitely the beefier acting role.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure. But yeah, that's definitely interesting. I think too, when you're watching it as a kid, when you're watching classic films like this, you mentioned it earlier, babe, that the costumes are so vibrant and there's cool choreography. So
Mm-hmm.
even watching it when you're younger, it's visually stimulating as a
Yeah,
kid, you know?
I totally agree with that. All right, so let's get into Guys and Dolls.
Okay, so our movie starts off with this beautiful classic musical score that is led by a dance number to bring us into the film. A really beautiful overture. The choreography intro is in front of a movie theater with pedestrians walking around the street, and we are quickly just given an overall perspective of the city. We are, on Broadway, so they do their best. They do their best to portray it that way.
I think this intro is so genius because, like, there's no words, there's no like narrator telling you what's going on. You're just getting this amazing choreography from Michael Kidd, and you totally understand what's going on. You see the city, you see the men that are trying to place these bets, and they're sneaking around trying to gamble, and they are trying not to get caught. And again, there's nothing going on except these dance numbers or this dance number, and you totally understand what the basis so far of the plot is.
Yeah, they even give like this hint. It's not even really a hint, but they give this acknowledgement of that sort of cat and mouse vibe of the men sneaking around town and the women getting a bit glammed up or getting new outfits and strutting their stuff around town, and the men like getting distracted with like their betting and paying attention to the women that are walking around, which obviously falls theme to what we're about to get into.
Definitely.
Leading into our very first song after the overture is Fugue for Tin Horns, which is sung by Nicely Nicely, Benny, and Rusty. It's the first like crew of gamblers that we meet.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tin Horn song. I mean, it's so well known. I think even it's a song that even like my dad and my grandfather would hum. I mean, it's a pretty well known famous number.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they do a good job with it. It's playful.
It does a good job of really starting the story and kind of telling you where we're at and what's going on, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a nice intro to the plot.
Yeah, it's an easy intro to the plot that the guys are focused on their betting and their horse races. After this betting song about the horse races, we soon meet Sarah, who's played by Gene Simmons, and is part of the sisters singing "Follow the Fold," which is basically a song about thinking twice before doing anything indulgent. She obviously becomes an important character later in the film, but it's just a quick intro into Sarah and what her troupe is about. They even get like interrupted by that guy that was selling like he was like pawning like fake gold watches, remember?
Mm-hmm. And like all the entire audience switches from her, or the people that are watching her instantly switch to him.
Yeah, they're like,
and so by the end of the song, she has no audience.
Yeah, she has no audience. Like no one's listening to her song or speech anymore about being mindful about overindulgence.
Well, a few things I wanted to say about Gene Simmons is number one, I was shocked to hear when I was looking this up that she sang her part, because a lot of the time when it's a big movie actress that's in a musical, you most of the time hear that they were dubbed with another actor. So I was like, oh, that's pretty great, because she has a great voice in this film. Like I thought she really held her own against these either singers like Frank Sinatra or someone that was directly from the Broadway production like Vivian Blaine. Like she really held her own.
Right. That's interesting that you said that, because I did, of course, discover that she wasn't option number one for the studio, and she wasn't even option number two
for Sarah.
She was choice number 3 after
Who were the
actresses.
First two?
One, I know for sure one of them was Deborah Carr.
Okay.
Which makes sense. I think the other one, is it possible Grace
So
Kelly?
You mean Deborah Carr and Marnie Nixon?
I think it may have been, right? Yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
Yeah, option 1 would have been Deborah Carr and Marnie Nixon.
in a duo role.
Yeah.
But I think it may have been Grace Kelly, possibly. But I do know that she was option number 3, and I know that once the movie wrapped, everyone from studio, director, everyone was like blown away by Gene Simmons on how she handled this role.
Yeah,
Surprise? No, right?
I mean, judging by the songs that I listen to on a regular basis, I usually go for Adelaide songs, and that's the female character I think of first. But you know, as I'm watching this movie, like I gotta say, Gene Simmons was like, she really blew me away in the role because you know, you think of the two female characters, and we'll get into Adelaide later, but you think of them and you think of one being this very big, vivacious character, the big costumes, the big personality, and then you think of Sarah, who's the more demure character. Like she really does, you know, she really did to me make this character so much more interesting.
I agree. I do agree with that. And gosh, so beautiful.
Very beautiful. I don't want to compare always, but my brain always does that. When I saw her, I immediately thought that she looked similar to Sophia Loren, which is funny because she's supposed to be more of a plain Jane, but like she's such a she's such a bombshell.
Yeah,
she looks like a bombshell.
Everything about
the bombshell. I mean the eyebrows.
And you know, I honestly not the biggest Audrey Hepburn fan, but I could see how you had mentioned when we were watching it that there were some little subtleties of like,
no, the tone of her voice.
Yes.
When I was listening, I go, oh, what is, like, who am I hearing? I'm hearing somebody's voice, and her speaking voice gives me Audrey Hepburn.
Mm-hmm.
Like her inflections and stuff. Like it was reminding me of Audrey Hepburn. Those are my two comparisons. That's all I wanted to say.
She was giving you like a Sophia meets Audrey vibe.
Mm-hmm.
She was giving me like an Audrey meets Debbie Reynolds type of vibe.
Oh, okay.
But that's also
her comedy. I could see that with her comedy. Like it was very Debbie Reynolds.
There are some actresses that just have that quirky, it's like a soft but quirky attitude. I mean, like a Mitzi Gaynor could have played this role. But also Mitzi's a little more showy.
Yes, but I think that she could have done a good job of like starting like, you know, quiet as a mouse.
Correct.
And then once, you know, later in the movie when she, you know, has her
lets her hair down.
Yeah, once she lets her hair down, I think that she could have done it very well too. But overall, this is not a role that I would recast. I think that Gene Simmons is wonderful in the role, and she really blew me away. And when it comes to actors or movies that I haven't seen in a while, if I finish the movie and I go, oh, I want to see what other stuff that they've been in. Like I want to do a deep dive on other films that I may not have seen of theirs. Then that means they really left an impression. And Gene Simmons, I was like, oh, I want to look up her filmography and kind of see what other ones I've either seen that I can't remember or that I haven't seen that I want to watch.
Agreed. So we cut from the outdoors mission gathering to Nicely and his buddy Benny running into Lieutenant Brannigan at a diner nearby. Currently, Lieutenant Brannigan is looking for Nathan Detroit. Little does the lieutenant know that Nathan's around the corner and kind of overhears what's going on. But Nathan's basically just trying to avoid running into the lieutenant.
Mm-hmm.
So Nathan Detroit, played by Frank Sinatra.
Yes. My notes for him were, well, I wanted to see how old he was at the time because I wasn't sure. And he was 40. He immediately, you can tell how small in stature he is. He's a little guy, but he has a big presence. Regardless of if he's the best for this role, I think that I understand why he was in movies because he has a big presence.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if you had a list of like 5 most recognizable voices of that era, I think he would be in the top 5. Up there would be like him and Judy Garland. Like those are some, recognizable, you immediately know who it is.
Yeah.
So, no matter what song he sings, he's going to sound amazing. He's going to knock it out of the park. So, yeah. That's Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, I mean, like, I love Frank Sinatra. I think his music's incredible, and I think he does a good job with this role.
Does he?
So so Nathan Detroit is on a mission to organize an illegal craps game, but the police are really starting to crack down on gambling. Because of this, Nathan's usual locations are starting to turn him away. So normal spots that he would put on these little gambling rings, like, they are starting to turn him away because the lieutenant's starting to catch on to them, and they don't.
Does the lieutenant have any other cases? Like, is he busy at all?
I mean, he is focused on this
because he is like a cat with a mouse. Like, he will not let this go. He has no murder cases. He has no missing people. He has nothing. Yeah. He has, are they shooting craps in New York? Like,
that is his,
a dog with a bone.
That is his goal, his mission. After some hunting around, Nathan finds out that the Biltmore garage will allow him to hold a game, but owner is requiring a $1,000 security deposit. And so, because Nathan doesn't have this, he has to start thinking on his feet on how he can acquire this money for the deposit. There's a song that's sung by the three of them, Nathan, Benny, and Nicely Nicely. They sing the oldest establishment floating crap game in New York. It's not very memorable, this song. Wouldn't you agree, babe?
No, it's not one of my go-tos.
Yeah, it's not.
But again, it does its job. Not every song is going to be the most memorable, but it's telling the story.
Yeah, and they probably didn't want to wait too long for the audience to be able to hear Frank's voice, the singing voice in the movie. So I'm thinking that's why they quickly just like throw in like this other song. On top of that, we've got Nathan venting to the guys, letting them know that he's also getting pressure at home from his fiance, Miss Adelaide, played by Vivian Blaine.
Yes. Fiance of 14 years. She is a patient woman.
So, I was going to say Vivian. Miss Adelaide is a nightclub singer. And she's been on Nathan's case because she wants to get married. She's hanging on for 14 years. He runs into her at the diner where he's there with the guys. And, there's that scene between them that it's just a lot of like nitpicking and yapping back and forth. When are you going to clean up your act, Nathan? When are you going to get a real job? And he's basically trying to convince Adelaide that, listen, organizing illegal gambling is really my only talent, hun. Like, this is all I got. So jumping into Vivian Blaine, now that we're introduced to her.
Yes. Well, I love Vivian Blaine. I think she's perfectly cast in this role. It's important to note that out of the 4 leads of the film, she's the one that is from the Broadway cast. I know that you had just brought it up to me as well, that the role was not even written for her.
Yeah, I believe that Frank had not Frank Sinatra, Frank Lesser had composed the music and lyrics. I think she may have been somewhat of a muse to him from just researching a little bit of theater history, that she must have been a sort of muse to him, sort of like Sarah Brightman was to Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Like, he just loved her voice and wanted to write music for her voice.
Yeah, so I know that when they pitched it and when they originally were working on the Broadway production, she really was put out there to mount the role of Sarah.
Which is funny, because when I hear Sarah's songs, I can hear Vivian singing them, because growing up, I watched the original State Fair, and she played the role of Emily, who was also a singer, but when I think of that character of Emily compared to the character of Adelaide, they are like they are so different. So I could definitely see why that role was initially written for her.
Sure.
But I mean, great job in, obviously she didn't get the role of Sarah. What happened with that?
Yeah, I mean, like, clearly there was something that the original producers of the show probably didn't feel like it was going to be a good fit. Yeah, it's possible that they just wanted like a bigger name at the time, or maybe maybe the producers were just like, no, we need a vehicle for someone else. Once he knew that Vivian was going to land in that spot. Either way, she made it into the movie, and she deserves to be in this role because you cannot take your eyes off of her when she's on screen. And I'm not just talking
100%.
looks. I mean talent wise too.
No, she's a star in the role. And the reason I brought up State Fair is because like even her voice, like the way that she was able to change her voice from her, I'm guessing, normal singing style to this more like comedic character. Yeah, she's definitely doing a character voice, and she does it so well. So I mean, it's just I would like in my mind, I think of like Emily from State Fair being young Adelaide, young, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and then after 14 years of being with Nathan, she's now she's now the Adelaide in Guys and Dolls, and she's just she's got a cold. She's frustrated.
Yeah, seriously.
So it's just kind of funny to see the two.
Hey, like you said, she had a lot of patience for waiting around that
Jeez.
long. So we're introduced to one star, Vivian Blaine, and now we get introduced to the last lead. Because next we meet Sky Masterson, who is played by the one and only Marlon Brando.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say, like, I do think that his star quality I mean, screen presence, I think Marlon Brando's awesome in this role.
I mean, out of the four, when you think of like who's the actor in the film, like he's the actor. He's really like his ability. I think that he's one of those actors that if he was given a not so great script, he could make it better because he's such a good actor. He's going to figure out how to make that role more interesting and overall more important and better, and make the film. He's going to elevate the film to something better.
I think you're right, and I think that what they did with hiring Frank for his star quality and his voice versus his acting skills. They did with Marlon Brando on the flip side.
Yeah,
they're like,
they're a good yin and yang. You've got one who's a star that is an amazing singer, and you've got one who is a star that is an amazing actor, and still again sang his role, was not dubbed, and sounds great. Another thing I brought up, like as we were watching it, kind of that threw me off for a second because I hadn't seen the film in a while, is I go, oh, the voice he's doing in Godfather, that's his voice. Because he kind of has a little bit of that.
It's kind of a drag, like marble.
He's got a little bit. He's on the back of his throat just a little bit. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, so that's not just his Godfather voice. That's his voice.
It was giving you the what was it? The good pigeons. The pigeons from, what were they called? The pigeons from the God pigeons from Animaniacs. Remember?
Oh my god! Definitely.
They all kind of sounded a little like this, and I think one of them even sounded like nicely. One of them was a little bit more Joe Pesci sounded.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, it didn't come off like jokey, but I forgot that really was like the tone of his voice.
So we're introduced to Sky Masterson. He is a chronic gambler, willing to basically bet on anything for huge payouts. After Nathan sees Sky at the diner, he thinks on his feet because he's got to get that $1,000 security deposit. So he does some back and forth about dolls with Sky. They talk about what is a man without a doll. They do this banter back and forth, and basically Nathan bets Sky that he cannot take a girl of Nathan's choosing to dinner in Havana on a date. So it's kind of one of these like, if you let me choose the girl that you're going to ask out, I bet you $1,000 that she's not going to say yes and she's not going to agree with you to go to dinner with you in Havana. And so, Nathan thinks to himself, I know, I'll pick Sister Sarah Brown from the Save a Soul mission because, obviously she's going to reject Sky.
She's got other things on her mind. She's saving souls.
Yeah, it's like I'm not gonna deal with this gambler. Yeah, and I don't want to be rude to Frank because yeah, Frankie's Frankie. Like it's hard to say bad things about him, but that first scene between them, Marlon really carries that diner scene.
We're just happy that Frank knew his lines.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Yeah,
yeah. He got through it, but
I'm not saying he never knew his lines. I'm just saying that like acting ability wise, like Frank knew his lines and Brando was acting.
Yeah, yeah. So Sky pretends to be a repentant, recovered gambler to meet Sarah. He goes and he introduces himself at the mission. They have some back and forth about, sinners and the good book. And Sky, thinking on his feet, he proposes a bargain with Sarah. He basically says to her that I will recruit for you a dozen sinners into your mission meeting that you're going to hold on Thursday nights. Thursday nights is their big weekly mission that meeting that they have at the mission. So he basically says like I will bring you a dozen sinners, and if I bring these people to you, will you then in turn go out to dinner with me in Havana? With Sarah's boss, which is Matilda Cartwright, that's her name, with Matilda threatening to close the mission's Broadway branch due to the low attendance, Sarah agrees to it. Sarah says, you know what? I'm going to take a risk and I'm going to go for it, especially because, Sky throws out there that he knows like Bible verses and he even corrects one of the, Proverbs quotes that she has on the board. That she just says, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go with it.
So it just was kind of funny that like he in turn corrected her, and that's what she's there for.
Right.
So you could tell it kind of peeved her a little bit.
That scene wraps up with a duet between Sarah and Sky called All Know. It's very pretty.
Yeah, it's definitely a pretty song. Again, it's not one of my most listened to off the soundtrack, but I think they both do well. I always go back to I can't believe that they weren't dubbed. I know that I shouldn't think this, but I always think that movies of that time, if you weren't a Broadway actor or a singer that was in a movie like trying to become an actor, I just felt like they always dubbed you.
Yeah.
Like they were like, okay. I mean, there were times they were so picky choosy about like what they wanted in a film soundtrack that they've hired people who are actual singers or actual Broadway talent and then decided that they wanted to dub them.
Right.
Like there's old films of like Angela Lansbury and when she was younger, and I don't know if she was doing Broadway at the time, but obviously we know Angela Lansbury can sing. And they were like, nah, we don't want her voice in this. We're going to dub her with somebody else. I don't know if it's because they had someone on the payroll and they were like, well, we'll just use her because we're already paying her. Might as well get her voice in this. Or if they just didn't like her voice. But I don't know. I just feel like in my mind, I always go back to these older movie musicals and assume that if you were not a Broadway actor or a singer, that they were just going to dub you. So when I heard that, I was like, good on them. Like that's great that they were able to sing this song, and it does sound very pretty.
Yeah, and quite frankly, there are musicals made today that I wish were dubbed
Jeez.
with other voices.
I think we say that all the time, where it's like, if you're not going to get a Broadway star, and at this point, 2025, Broadway, because of social media and just because of how popular Broadway is now, these stars on Broadway are so well known now that you can just put them in a movie. Like, just put them in the dang movie if you're going to make a movie about about a Broadway musical, if you're going to turn it into a movie. But if you're not, and you really do want a star, like if you want a Hollywood star, dub their voice.
Yeah.
Please. We don't always have to be like, we're going to sing it on set.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't always, you're not always going to get Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande.
Exactly.
Okay.
Sometimes you're going to get Emily Blunt, and sometimes you're going to get Corbin. And it's like, guess what? We love you guys.
Lord.
But I mean, we love you guys as actors, but it's like, Sondheim, I don't know about this. Talk about a passionate kiss that he plants on her after this duet that they sing, and
he's a method actor.
I kind of love it that she like I kind of love it that she slaps him like right at the end, because she's a method actor.
Oh my god. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's a real. He probably told her.
I mean, planted one on her and she swung.
Because I feel like that cheek moved.
Right. Right. So we cut to now the nightclub scene. And this is where Adelaine has her show that she's performing. So we're introduced to her, her act that she's starring in. And we are pulled in to the song called Me Poppa. So I know this one probably cuts you deep. How do we feel about the song Pet Me Poppa versus Bushel and a Peck that's on stage?
I don't think that you can really compare the two. I love Bushel and a Peck so much. It's such a great song. It's I don't understand why they cut it out. It makes no sense to me. The scene is pretty. I love the cat outfits. I love the choreography. I love the performance. But the song, I don't ever have to hear that song again.
I agree with you. I do like Pet Me Poppa, but I do agree with you. I think Bushel and a Peck is stronger.
I mean, I don't think it's a bad song. That's just me being bitter that Bushel and a Peck is not in the movie.
Yeah, I also like that Bushel and a Peck on stage can be choreographed with basically any theme you want it to be. It could be a classic showgirl feathers and lace type of scene. It could be a hoedown with Daisy Dukes that we have seen
Jane Krakowski.
We've seen Jane Krakowski do.
It in her hot pants and just being
it can be done so many ways. I've seen performances where they'll use like towels and loofahs, like it's almost like a bathhouse scene with the girls, or like a spa. Pet Me Poppa is a little it's more direct, so they do this very kitty cat type of number with the tails and the whiskers and all of that. But I do think it's cute. Is it necessary to have changed it? No.
If you're going to write new songs, I'm shocked that you wouldn't write your new songs for your recording artist that you have hired for the film.
So back in the dressing room, Nathan is hanging around, running calls from Adelaine's dressing rooms, like her phone that's in there. And she comes in from off stage and interrupts him. He pretends that he wasn't running any gambling calls from her phone. And she is explaining to him that she's got this chronic cold that she just cannot kick. And she said that I've seen lots of doctors and they're starting to tell her that it is psychology. It's why she can't kick her cold. It has nothing to do with, physical, allergies or, her being sick. That it's all mental now. And she goes in on Nathan again about marriage, and she confesses to him that she's been writing letters to her mom, letting her mom know that like they had been married all of this time. And not only that, they've got 5 kids racked up by this time. So she's basically been lying this whole time because she didn't want to disappoint her mom, and she's been embarrassed. And it's like her way of letting Nathan know, like, look at all of this that I have to do just because you won't marry me after after all of this time.
So funny because when that happened and we were watching the scene, like I got hyper fixated on that because I go like all I could think about was how long has it been since you've seen your mom? Has she like
Or
has
maybe she
she
only visits her alone.
but not just that, not just how long has it been since you've seen your mom. I was thinking like she's never seen her grandkids.
Yeah,
She's
good point.
never
Yeah,
seen a
good point.
picture of her
Yeah, it's not
grandkids.
like she said her mom's like in the slammer or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
I
that's a
was
good
just
point.
like, oh
Yeah.
my God, how long? Like
Like mom wouldn't visit once a year, twice, once every other year. You're
right.
right. Good
I
point.
just was like, oh my God.
How's she gonna get out of this lie? That's probably what you were thinking.
Hmm.
Her loudmouth like co-star of the show walks back into the dressing room and basically spills the beans that Nathan's, running this crap game coming up soon. And of course, Adelaide's pissed off because she thought Nathan was going to go straight
Hmm.
and clean up his act, but clearly he's doing this behind her back still. So she's super disappointed and she kicks him out and says, like, I don't want to see you again. And we go into Adelaide's lament.
Hmm. I love that scene with Vivian Blaine too because it reminds me of Marissa Tomei in My Cousin Vinny.
Oh yeah, good comparison.
Like her blow up on
Really good
in the film,
comparison.
like it's giving me those vibes. And looking at them, I wonder if the writer or director of My Cousin Vinny was like inspired at all because
Possibly.
I see a lot of similarities between the characters being with their man for so long, not being married, being frustrated, and they've got similar, you know they've got similar accents. They dress louder.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, I think that they're I love both of their energies, but I was just like, oh, this is giving me Marissa Tomei.
Yeah, that's a great comparison. How do we feel about her song?
Best song of the show, best
Yeah.
song of the movie,
Yeah? Your favorite?
my all-time favorite.
Oh, really?
I love it so much. This is my song that it's probably on my most listened, like any version.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's just so funny. If you have the right actor, it's going to be hilarious. Vivian Blaine in this, the whole setup is interesting, even with it just being in her little dressing room. I think she does so much with the scene. And
I think this is also a moment where, yes, she's in her head a lot, but it's a good cheat of breaking that fourth wall with the audience.
mhm.
And I think it is a really cool scene. I love when she opens her medicine cabinet
Yeah,
and the
all
way
the different colored liquids.
yeah, and the way they set up, the medicine cabinet is so small from her side and from her point of view,
Hmm.
but then when she opens it up, the camera pulls behind the medicine cabinet and it really shows this like enormous like long shot of all the cool different like vials of medicines and sprays and pills and different colors. It really beautiful scene. Could be a very cool like poster image if somebody
Hmm.
wanted to make a poster with her on it. But it is a very cool song. She sounds great in it.
Hmm.
She gets to flex her muscles
Yeah.
because it is, to me, one of those songs where you cannot just sing this song. It's an actor's song.
Definitely. If you don't have a comedian
Yeah,
who can really sell the lines and know what they're talking about, then it's not going to work at all.
I agree. I'm a big fan of Megan Mullally's version of it that she did at a concert.
Hmm.
I know you're a really big fan of the revival.
Yes, Faith Prince. She's unbelievable overall, but
Yeah.
her version of this song is so funny as well. Like she really sells it.
Hmm. You know who would have had I don't know if she ever has. I should look into it, but Madeline Kahn would have been great singing this
Hmm.
song.
Oh, for sure. She would have made it hilarious.
Yeah.
Um, Ellen Green did it at the bowl, and I've watched her version, and I mean, her her comedy and her voice just like link into that song perfectly as well.
Yeah. You know who else would be from from Passion? Um
Donna Murphy.
Donna Murphy could nail this song too.
Oh, I could totally see. Yes.
And actors, like, it's just there's something about this song that, not to go too into it for forever, but it is a great song. It's cool to know that that's your favorite song of the show.
Definitely. Here's a question for you, because in the performance of Pet Me Poppa and the performance of Adelaide's Lament, you had brought up the breaking the fourth wall, and in Pet Me Poppa there's a couple shots where she looks directly in the camera and she's singing to the camera, and then in Adelaide's Lament there's moments where she's singing into the camera, whereas there's other songs like the ballads where they're singing to each other. She's really talking to the audience and kind of telling her story. How do you feel about that compared to earlier scenes, or an earlier scene? Is it an earlier scene? When does Frank?
Yes.
How do you feel about that compared to in the earlier scene, which was not a song, when Frank looks directly in the camera and does like a
it's a little shticky, especially
I hated it.
Especially when you're acting. When you're in a scene and you're just acting, I do feel that it can come off a little too shticky and cartoony. I don't love it. I particularly don't love it when it's on stage, even more so. But I do think it's more justified in Adelaide's performances. That's completely justified because it's the director's decision. It is a performance. She is performing for the audience.
She's looking in the camera, but she's looking at the audience.
Correct. So in her actual like stage performances on film, totally justified. In this moment in her dressing room, I think that it's justifiable because I'm going to forgive it. In this song, I'm going to forgive it for this scene.
I don't even think it's a forgivable offense. I think that, the song is meant to be, it is a break the fourth wall moment. I just don't think that when you're in the middle of a scene with another person and then you look, this isn't a sitcom.
Yeah.
Like,
and even at that,
yeah, it has to be pretty darn funny for it to be like a look directly in the camera kind of thing.
Absolutely.
It just came out of nowhere, and then he just looked dead in the camera and like made a face, and I was like, we chose to keep that in the movie?
Yeah.
Or is it because he didn't like doing more than one take?
Probably that.
He was like, you got what you got.
Yeah, get me out of here. That concludes part 1 of our review of Guys and Dolls. Please stay tuned next week as we drop part 2. And if everyone can go find us on Instagram and TikTok at HollywoodHubbies, that would be awesome. Give us a follow and leave some comments. And thanks for sticking around and supporting.